Hello, YouTube. Welcome to my channel, Marriage, Politics, and Sports. This is the 106th episode of my Let the Women Tell It series. And this one is special to me because it's playing upon a theory I have about the nature of women with respect to what they think and need and feel about men. It's probably nothing new. It's probably been said and studied before. I'm not even going to get really that deep in it, but before I go on, like, share, and subscribe. Now, really hit that like button. Even if you spend 2 seconds into this thing, hit the like button. Just do it for me. And if you have some comments and some pushback or some words of encouragement, leave that in the comment section as well. But here's the situation. I posit this thing, this theory that women actually don't think they need men. And the funny quip would be until they do. And one of the things that I realize is that most women, if not all of them, just naturally don't need to have anything to do with men unless they find us useful. That's the part that people leave out. Now, there's in the modern day, in the modern era, there's women who have, if she's married or if she's just out in the scene, all the men, and I would ask a woman to do this as an experiment, because if you don't believe me, list down the five or top, however many guys you have in your orbit, whether they're random male orbiters who want to sleep with you, or just random male, it could be family guys who don't, but guys you talk to on a regular basis. And think about, why do you talk to them as opposed to anybody else? And I bet you, if you really thought about it, each and every individual man you talk to, he gives you something. Whether it's some emotional support, whether it's a word of encouragement, whether there's some labor you need to have done, whether there's some kind of reflection that you need to, or some kind of inclination you need about a relationship, even though you're not in one with him. The truth of the matter is, if the man doesn't serve some kind of purpose for you, he wouldn't be in your orbit. You wouldn't have any use for him in your orbit, right? And I have this lady who's going to come up here, and she's going to give a little bit of credence to what I'm saying, because she's a divorcee, and she doesn't want to be wined and dined by men. She doesn't need that from them. But what she does need them to do is clean her yard. Is to do the kind of things that her ex-husband used to do. And she's going to go into her own words to say that. But I'd like to broaden it out, because even, I've been married for a long time. People say, well, you don't know nothing about women since you've been married. That's the stupidest shit I ever heard. And the reason why it's stupid is because all the guys out there who think they're smashing random women from time to time, in their whole dating life, they think they know more about women than a guy who's been living with one for 38 years. Think about it. If you got a game and you know how to smash a chick, there's not a whole lot of intellectual shit that you're learning from just getting laid, right? It's how do you, if you married for 38 years, then you spent a lot of time, like me, spent a lot of time learning women, because I have one that, when she said I do to me, my dear, beautiful wife never stopped being a woman. Not for 1 second. Right? And we're still married. So that means I learned something. You know what I'm saying? So if you say, she's still married to you, that means she needed something from you. Right. Yeah. And she got it. A lifelong obligation to make sure she's taken care of. And for whatever the other things she might need, that's one of them. Right. And one of the things that I had to do was make sure she never had a chance to choose. That's why when families and men fall on hard times with women, they have to realize that they're on the clock. Because a woman, once you lose a job, or she starts to feel that she's losing her security, you are on the clock, man, because your usefulness to her is actually running out. So this young lady is going to come on and give. So I want to kind of maybe bias you guys to hear the context into how she's going to explain what she needs from guys who want to date her. Now, here's the thing. Here's the funny thing. The guy she's talking about, she's not sexually attracted to. Because if she was, all this bullshit that she's going to say would go right out the window and he would be busting those cheeks without having to do a goddamn thing for her. That's just how that shit works. And a lot of men miss that. A lot of people miss that. And you just want to stay in a random orbit trying to be useful just by chance for her to, say, you know what? Shit, I don't have nothing else. You'll do tonight. So here I'm going to let her speak. So hopefully, if you have some questions on my little theory, I really believe it too. I got my wife, I got 2 daughters, and they love me dearly. I love them dearly, but I can understand that they look at their papa daddy based on what I provide to them, and it's not a bad thing. I think that's just how women are. Just like there's certain natures of men that's just how we are, right? Our nature for procreation, our nature for aggressiveness and assertiveness, masculinity is something that the society is trying to kill. And a lot of us are saying, fuck you. You're not killing our masculinity. You can call it anything you want, but it's certainly not toxic. It's something natural and God-given. So women have God-given traits too. And one of them is self-preservation. It's looking inward, making sure that she's taken care of. Women call it happiness and shit like that. Men call it satisfaction. So, so it's a theory. I can flesh it out, but I'm not going to write a book on it. But maybe I could, but I think that if every woman did some reflection of all the men in their lives and why you were close to some, not close to others, and completely ignored others, you'll see that, you know what, the ones I ignored actually had no use for. So anyway, enough of me rambling. Let's let this young lady talk about it. And I put that little bug in your ear because I want you to listen to her from the lens I'm thinking about. And I'm going to let it all play out because, I just took a good snippet of what she said, but I didn't listen to it all, but I knew where she was coming from. So without further ado, let's let the woman tell it. All right.
So, I'm a single mom and been married, dated, and I have a gentleman who I've known for a while who's pursued me for a while. And I just haven't been interested because I haven't just not really wanting to date. And, I told him, or he called me and he's like, don't be upset. I just need to ask you something. I'm like, okay. So he's like, why aren't you interested in me? Like, my finances are good. I've been liking you for a while. I've been pursuing you for a while. Why aren't you giving me a chance? And I told him, I said, I don't know. I just haven't been wanting to start looking into that or dating or anything. But, like, I'm a single mom. Like, there's certain things that I like, to impress me. There's certain things that, like I want, you to try to do. Like, I'm not about going to have dinner or go watch a comedy show or nothing like that. I really just want someone to just come and be like, hey, let me mow your lawn. Let me clean out your backyard. Let me help out with the manly things because I know you don't have a man in this house helping you out in that. Like, those are the things that I want, not that I might, but that might change my heart. That might change my mind. But you trying to ask me out.
Let me just stop it right there. She said the key word, right? clean up my yard, do all these useful things that my ex-husband used to do. And then maybe, just maybe, some juices will flow for you to get the prize that you're looking for. Now, if a woman tells you that, let me also tell you that you ain't getting a damn thing. Now, because if she was sexually attracted to you, she wouldn't be asking you to rake her leaves. I'm just telling you. So you might rake all of those leaves, and that maintenance man is going to come in and just get all the goodies that you hope to get if she felt sorry for you, and maybe she gave you a lay or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So there will be, she's pretty, so there will be takers, and there might be a few takers. Now, she doesn't necessarily have to sleep with any of them. But you know what? One guy might be a good electrician. He'll come over, think he could get a good way and fix her electricity, change his smoke alarm and some shit like that. Another guy could, fix her car. Another guy might go ahead and rake her leaves and do all that kind of stuff, do the hedges and shit. And she might be, give him a smile, maybe even do some dinner. But let me tell you, every one of those guys is thinking about getting a goodie, and she's not obligated to give it to anybody for anything, except if they continue to be useful. Maybe one of those guys might start saying, you know what? Maybe it's looking at this guy is better than dating. The only thing I tell people though, if you actually get a woman to give into you that way, that you have to pull her through all these kind of things, she don't really like you that much. She might do it because she's just tired of being out there. And then as soon as you think you're comfortable, the guy she wants will come in, and then you're going to be shit out of her. And that happens more than that. And guess what? She'll dump your ass in a heartbeat.
Out on a date or take him out to eat, or I don't want to. I don't want to do any of that. I don't want to. I don't want to spend any time doing that. I want a different kind of effort. I want you to offer these kind of things to me. Like I might just change my mind, change my perspective in dating or in that person. I just want to see that effort. So that's what.
I'd like to say, beautifully said, young lady, because it's exactly something that I think a lot of men have to understand what you say. And the reason why I say that, women don't need men until they do. I mean, they do a lot of these street interviews and things of that nature. And the street interviews will say, well, do you need a man? And inevitably, they'll ask people, most of the women, and maybe they edit these things, they know. But they had that little stupid challenge, would you rather be lost in the woods and meet a bear or a man? The way feminism has a lot of women today, they say a lot of stupid shit that's not true. I don't really need a man, but when I want him to, tickle my fancy, in the right spots, then, maybe I need him. That kind of stuff, right? And the funny thing is that most men always want to be useful. That's our Achilles heel. Men want to be useful. They want to have purpose. People, they want to have some need in this world, some obligations to keep us moving. It doesn't have to be to a woman, but that's one of the things that we ascend to when we're trying to get ahead, right? We have to have a purpose, and that could be exploited, especially by ladies. But let's look at some of these comments. That's why I left them up. A couple of comments. Besides the guys who are pandering and you look gorgeous and all that other horse shit. Yeah, she's cute. Some guys are telling the dude that she's talking about to move on. She's not interested in you. Just what you can do for her. Well, you know what? That guy is right. But in general, that's how women look at men anyway. There's nothing wrong about this woman. The average chick, right? If she's gonna want to know what you can do for her before she's interested in you, especially if you're not a select man. So it's another comment, this one here. Hey, but those things that you're asking for, your husband used to do it. And she even responded to this guy. Yeah, but due to my past trauma, okay, women always with their trauma, right? I'm not interested, but I'm open to for him to try if he wants to. Let me tell you, if she posed this guy, she posed that question to, I wish he was in his comments because he's probably over there. Let's just say this was like last week, and she needed something done. He's probably over there doing it, right? Because I don't know if she didn't say in this little clip that he says, okay, if that's what you want from me, you know what, bye. I don't even deal with that kind of shit. So whatever she needed from him, he took the cues. But if he came over there and started doing it, he pretty much don't have a shot. Because in the back of his mind, he understands that this woman is not really attracted to him. She's not really attracted to him. And most men get this shit wrong. The guy she's attracted to doesn't have to pick up one goddamn piece of rape. You understand? He doesn't have to do none of that shit. He's just coming over there and busting the cheeks and then leaving, kissing her on her forehead and then leaving. That's how that works. The one thing I tell dudes, listen, when you want a woman in your life that you're not just fooling around with, you have to be reasonably sure that she views you as her number one choice. And if she doesn't, your shit is just out there for the taking for the guy she does do that. So that's my little theory. Women, when they say they don't need a man from a certain standpoint, they are actually telling the truth. Okay, but what they really need to say is, I don't need a man unless I can find some use in my life for him. Right? And that's just true. It is absolutely true. And there's nothing wrong with that unless it's abused. Right? So I'll give you an example where it's not abused. If a guy likes a woman and she doesn't like him back, but he actually does shit for her, she'll try to pay him money. Right? She said, listen, I don't want you to just come over here and use your time. I'm gonna pay you for it. This way she's telling him that, hey, you know what? I don't want you to get any thoughts in your head that after a while I'm gonna give in. I'm gonna pay you for whatever time you put in. I might cook you dinner, I might do all this, but we ain't going no further. As he has a choice to make, that maybe I'll stop doing these things because what I really want is her, right? But if he's getting paid and it's good, like some fair wage, he might continue to be in her orbit because now he knows she's closed off. And that's a good woman who knows, because every single woman out there knows that men want to bail them out, want to make love to them, whatever the goddamn words you want to use. That if a heterosexual man is pursuing you, he wants to sleep with you. And some guys will, come straight out and say it, and some guys will wine and dine you. Some they don't have nefarious motives. Some guys actually might even like you and want to have a relationship with you, but in the end, he wants to be in those cheeks. It's as simple as that. And let's stop running away from that. It's just true. So anyway, I like this lady when she had to say. I'm gonna put this to her channel on TikTok, and there, so she has a lot of stuff. But this one just jumped out at me because it kind of goes to my theory about what women think about men in general. So with that, thanks for listening. Like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'm gonna put a link to her channel if you want to hear anything more from this married woman, ex-married woman, and we'll go from there. Our pain, marriage, politics, and sports. Over and out.